Hello, everybody. This is Chris with Night of Living Card Games. I am back again to play some more games. But instead of Marble Champions tonight, I am getting some Earthborne Rangers on the table. If you are not familiar with Earthborne Rangers, it is a newer, like in the last couple of years, living card game by Earthborne Games, which is Andrew DeMauro, Andrew Fisher, a few other people. Used to work with FFG, now spun off their own game company, and they created Earthborne Rangers as their first game. Quick overview of it: this is thousands of years in the future. Humanity realized that they had screwed up the environment and the world. They sealed themselves up in these big contained cities called Arcology, while they built machines and other things to fix the damage done to the world. So you come out of this a few thousand years later. I forget how many it is. It's either like 3,000 or 5,000 or something like that. And the world has changed. Animals have changed. Locations have changed. Things of that nature. I think technically the setting of the game is called the Valley, and I think it's the Colorado Rocky area. But anyway, so you're going around. You are a ranger who is tasked with helping people, protecting nature, protecting animals, and just being generally helpful. There aren't any like evil villains in this. It's a much more kind of like solar punk positive look of things. We saw that we were destroying the environment. We sealed ourselves away to fix it, and now we're trying to live in harmony with it. So in the core box, you come up with their original campaign is called Lure of the Valley, and as you're going around there, the valley starts to get invaded by these things called reclaimers, which were part of old technology that you don't understand, but it looks like they're going to destroy cities and old technology and destroy it. So you have to stop them. And what I'm going to put on the table is their second campaign, which just came out relatively recently, like in the last 6 months, called Legacy of the Ancestors, which is going to see us go underground and into the past technology of these people. One of the nice things, as opposed to like an Arkham, or Marvel doesn't even really have it as such, is this is designed so you can carry your character over. So as you're playing this, you get rewards, you unlock things, certain events happen, and I don't have to start all over with this new campaign. I just recently finished up. I didn't film it. I just recently finished another run through that initial core campaign, and I'm going to bring that same character with the same upgrades, the same reward cards, the same history into this campaign and see how it goes. So my character that I brought is Nala Sweetwind, who is a tail spinner conciliator. I'm not going to go through the whole list of everything with it, but basically you get certain classes, certain traits, and things like that you can do. You've got different energy, and depending on what you're trying to do in the game, it takes a different kind of energy to do it. So for my character, I've got a 2 in awareness, 3 in spirit, 2 in fitness, and a 1 in focus. There's a whole bunch of these aspect cards, and they vary from 1 to 3. And you go from there. So depending on the tests, and there are different tests, like you're trying to move through locations, you're trying to avoid creatures, you're trying to connect with them, things of that nature. I've also got my little character Meeple here. Officially, I am a voice of the Elder, which means I can exhaust myself and put energy on aid equipment that is marked as aid. So, all right, so I got that going here. And real quick, if you notice with the playmats I'm using, may look a little strange if you look at them closely. That's because I managed to pick up, with the help of somebody in the Discord, the Earthborne Rangers Discord, I was able to pick up German playmats. So the European provider had some different playmat options than the US distributor. And I really like the artwork on these, so I spent probably more than I should to get these sent over to me. So, but I'm happy with it. So the other thing I'm going to do here is another neat thing about the game and what Earthborne Games did is their soundtrack. There's a soundtrack they put out for the original core box, and they put a soundtrack out for this new Legacy of the Ancestors. So I'm going to try playing it in the background while I'm doing my playthrough here. So let me know if it's a distraction or if it's too loud or you don't like it or anything like that. But we're going to try it out and see how it goes. So while that's going on, I am going to start up. This is very narrative and immersive, so expect a lot of reading if you didn't watch my playthrough of the original. So bear with me, please. So the story so far. You've come to the end of a long day's journey. Your legs ache, yet you feel invigorated. A light breeze rustles your cloak and cools the perspiration on your skin. You take a deep, full breath. Crisp mountain air fills your lungs, and you feel it all the way down to the soles of your feet. You exhale and taste the sweetness of the air on your tongue. On this day, you're returning home after a weeks-long patrol of the Northern Pass. The hour is late, and the shadow of Atrox Mountain stretches out before you, reaching eastward across the valley's many forests, lakes, and streams. As evening deepens, the song of frogs and chirping insects rises from the grasslands. Your path has led you out of the mountains and down to the foothills of Atrox Mountain, where tall trees now stand on all sides, and the air is rich with the smell of pine and loamy earth. In the distance, you see a welcome sight. Visible for miles, even in the failing light, Lone Tree Station stands out against the evening sky. The sight of your home fills you with relief. After weeks on patrol, you are eager to get a warm meal and a good night's rest. You hear the distant sound of laughter and merrymaking on the wind. The sun dips below the mountains, painting the clouds in a rich vermilion. The leaves of Lone Tree glitter in the evening light, and you smell rain on the air. And then depending on if you had jumping in from the previous campaign or you're just starting new, we go there. So don't need to do that one. All right. So we got Lone Tree Station over here. I'll flip it over. And campaign log for these, they tell you there is weather that goes on, and depending on what day of the campaign you're on, it will tell you what the weather you need to follow. The artwork on these cards and these locations, everything is just amazing. So it really is a wonderful game. If you haven't given it a try, I highly recommend it. There is a demoable version on TTS if you are interested. All right, let's start this thing up. So to start the campaign, we have to set things up. So I've got my ranger set up. I need to draw my opening hand, and then I get to continue. So it is a 6-card opening hand. The Cassende technique, follow in the footsteps, a gauze blade, Corda's instinct, the bravest ranger, and Cordo's instinct. All right, and like Arkham, there is a mulligan. Like Arkham and Marvel, there's a mulligan, but like Arkham, it is you set the ones you don't want aside, and then you get to shuffle them back in afterwards. All right, so I'm just keeping the Bravest Ranger title, and we're going to get 5 more. The Stout-Hearted Guardian, Quiet, Compassionate, Follow in Footsteps, and another Gauze Blade. All right. So one of the things with this is with these titles that I've got as a tail spinner, and what I managed to accomplish in the previous one is when I exhaust, I can pull back cards that I've been fatigued on. And that gives me a benefit, so the nice thing is I don't have to worry about fatigue too much, because kind of like Lord of the Rings, when you run out of your deck, your day is done. You don't lose, just the day ends, and you have to stop, and then things continue. So, all right, so I have my opening hand. And now we shall continue. You wake with the dawn. The unmistakable aroma of high Pimpot's pancakes rouses you from your slumber. Birdsong drifts through the open window, and you raise your head to see the first rays of sunlight peek over Mount Nim. As a ranger, you've grown accustomed to sleeping under the stars, but every once in a while, it's nice to sleep in a comfortable bed, sheltered from the elephants. Put Lone Tree Station into play in the surroundings. Lone Tree Station. As you lie snug and warm, you recall a portion of the dream you had last night. You were in a dark cave, your surroundings barely illuminated. You remember the stillness of the air and the sound of a trickling stream. There was a being there with you, cloaked in shadow. As the light crawled slowly over its form, revealing it bit by bit, it turned its head towards you, a head like a many-petaled flower, grinning in a fashion that filled you with deep unease. Your memory of the dream fades as you climb out of bed, and remember that you have an early meeting with Elder Thrush. You dress quickly and head straight to the kitchen for breakfast. You know from past experience that if you don't hurry, the pancakes will all be eaten, and you'll have to settle for sunberry mash and cream. You pull on your tunic, step onto the balcony, and notice a darkened sky to the south. After several weeks of nearly perfect weather, heavily laden clouds have swept up from the Verdessa. It begins to rain. Put the downpour weather in play. That is here. So one of the things, when you make tests, you commit things to it, but then you pull a challenge card. And like Arkham with the tokens, it'll have a positive or negative, 0 or negative number, and it determines whether you pass or fail. But they also have, each one has a little symbol on it, and you have to do on any cards that are out, you have to do whatever that symbol says. So downpour is a weather, it's inclement type. It starts with 4 rain. If I were to pull a challenge card and had a yellow sun on it, I would need to discard 1 rain from this card, and then each ranger suffers 1 fatigue. So fatigue is you just take the top card of your deck, put it over here face down. If there are no rain remaining on this card, flip it, and then something else happens. So we got our weather in. I've got my die on to remind myself it is 4 rain on it. You weave your way through the covered stairways of Lone Tree Station, and as you reach Elder Thrush's ready room, your ears are filled with the rolling thrum of raindrops pelting the roof. Elder Thrush stands at the far end of a circular table that dominates the center of the room. Carved from the trunk of a gigantic redwood slain by lightning, the table bears a faint scorch marks beneath a generous coat of lacquer. In the center of the table sits a marvelous piece of technology, a multi-hued map of kinetic glass, large enough to depict the entire valley. With a gesture from Elder Thrush, the surface of the valley lifts, revealing partially mapped passageways in the ground below. Spirit Speaker Nal and Ben Amon are there as well, speaking quietly with each other. As you enter, they sit at attention. Elder Thrush studies the shimmering map for a moment, then gestures for you to take a seat across from her. "Good morning," she says in a friendly, no-nonsense tone. "I trust you slept well last night. I know that you were looking forward to some extended free time after your long patrol, but the people of the valley are in need once again." You sit up a little straighter. "Do you know Solaro Mako?" You tell Elder Thrush that you're familiar with the valley's foremost archaeologist and enthusiast of Estian lore. "You may not have felt it since you were patrolling the northern pass, but while you were gone there was a tremor near Spire. It was barely perceptible here at the station, and it did not last more than a few moments, but there are many who believe it was an event of great importance. Solaro Mako is one of them. He believes that something has shifted deep within the Arcology ruin, and he is eager to investigate. A few days ago, he approached the Council of Elders with a proposal. He wants to lead an expedition into the depths of the Arcology to discover the source of the tremor." "Elder," says Ben Amon, raising a finger, If I may, Solaro's theory is well founded in historical fact. Long ago, when the valley was first settled by our ancestors, there was a tremor not unlike this one. Our ancestors already knew of the Arcology ruin beneath the spire, but after the tremor, Sal Orlin, Elder Orlin's father, discovered that a passage had opened near the surface. Ben Amon gestures toward the map, and the kinetic shard reforms to show a detailed view of the Arcology threshold. A passage within leads to a spiral staircase set inside a deep chimney, a narrow, vertical chasm, plunging far below the surface. He went in not knowing what awaited him, and he returned with the carbon forge, the most valuable piece of technology we have today. I have no doubt that Solaro hopes to find that another doorway has opened somewhere in the ruin, and that beyond lies an equally important discovery. Spirit Speaker Nal nods in agreement. There may be another element to this as well. Shortly after the Reclaimers came and went, I felt the Arcology stir. It's agitated. It has the energy of a scroff-tussled anthill, like it's been startled awake after a centuries-long slumber. I've never been so aware of the life forms underground, or of the Arcology itself. This tremor is no coincidence. There is still much that we do not understand about the Estians, says Ben Amon. Perhaps the presence of the Reclaimers caused an ancient failsafe to be triggered deep within the ruin, for there are many such cautionary tales concerning the relics of the ancestors and the dangers they pose to the unwary. It would be wise to temper our curiosity with caution. Agreed, said Elder Thrush. It's been 5 years since the last expedition. Perhaps Calypso spoke of it during your training. It was to be a simple excursion to Orlin's vault, but tragedy must have befallen them, for none of the expedition was seen again. She shakes her head. I recommend against this new expedition at the council, but I found myself in the minority. I did agree, however, that it would be wise to send rangers. This is where you come in. You are to aid Solaro and the rest of the expedition in whatever way you can. And, of course, you are to see to it that everyone returns alive and unharmed. She gestures, and within the crystalline tinkling of thousands of shards of glass, the glittering map of the valley reforms, taking the shape of spire. The easiest method by which you may descend into the Arcology is by way of the Arcology threshold in the village of Spire. However, she gestures again, and the map of the valley returns with certain areas marked by spinning golden flecks. There are numerous sinkholes and other entrances to the Arcology scattered throughout the valley as well. The route you take is up to you. Gain the descent mission. May the spirit of the valley guide and protect you, she says. And with that, Elder Thrush calls an end to the meeting and sends you on your way. All right. Let us go get the descent mission. So as we go around, we get these missions, and we have things that we need to complete on it. Let's see what the descent says. You must journey into the dark to lend aid to Solaro's expedition. You can either descend to the chimney from the Arcology threshold in Spire, or find an Arcology sinkhole and descend from there. Once at the chimney, you'll need to find and talk to Solaro. And when you arrive at the chimney, it has a passage from the storybook to read. So the playmats have mission area over here, but for the way the cameras are set up, I'm just going to put that down there. All right. So let's see here. Travel to the chimney by way of either the Arcology threshold in Spire or an Arcology sinkhole at non-pivotal locations to meet up with Solaro Mako's expedition. All right, so now I need to set up the rest of things. And so I need to get the woods terrain and do this. So I'm going to step away and I'm going to get everything set up and then we will continue. All right. So I've got the path deck set up. So every location we go to has a little bit of a flavor text to read about it, and then it gives you arrival instructions. So I will do all that, but what this says here is, again, it's given me a mission. Go, basically, go underground. So here's a map of the valley. So we are up here at Lone Tree Station. Over here is Spire, and these diamonds that are kind of a brown color, dark brown color, are non-pivotal locations. So my choice is either to go check out these non-pivotal locations and try to find that sinkhole, or head over to Spire and go to the Arcology threshold there. So that's my choice, but I have to travel around to do that. So let us see what happens here. Lone Tree Station. Visible for miles around, Lone Tree is a single enormous giga redwood rising out from the thick grass of a high prairie. From far away, the tree is all you can see. But as you come closer, you can see the rest of the station. The large box garden plots hanging from the branches, the airship Swift moored to its docks in the tree's crown, the doors and windows carved into the trunk and peeking out from among the roots. Lone Tree Station has been the base of operations for the Rangers ever since people came to the valley. And ever since you became a Ranger, it's been your home. Alright, so then my arrival setup says search the path deck for the next predator and discard it. So basically, it's just start going from the top of the deck and find the next one that is labeled a predator, which is this prowling wolfhound, and discard it. Now, though, once you do that, you do have to shuffle the deck. So, all right. And then it says lead ranger, draw one path card. So that's going to be me. All right, and I got some sunberry brambles. So down here, it's got a little arrow. If it's down, it comes here, which is in reach. If it's an up, it comes over here to along the way. So what this does is it has a presence. This is how much damage it can take, and this is what it would take to clear it. And it has a test on it. So it says awareness plus, and I always forget the icon, so I apologize, triangle against a threshold of 2 to pluck the thornberry fruit. I'm sorry. I got to read this a little closer. I'm getting old my age. So the test says to pluck the thorn ring fruit to add 1 harm to this, 1 damage to this feature, and soothe 2 fatigue. So I'd be able to pull 2 cards from my fatigue stack back to me. If you fail, the feature fatigues you. All right. So now we have done all the setup stuff. So real quick, Lone Tree Station has a presence of 1. And what this over here says is I have to get 3 per ranger progress on it to travel away from it. So since it's only me, it's just 3. And how I make progress as a travel is one of the common tests. It is fit plus an explore icon against a target of 1. And then whatever I get to add on here. And if I have 3 or more on it, when the time comes, I can travel away if I so choose. All right, so we've got everything set up. So now we do the round structure. So first things first, we draw another path card. All right, I have a Sitka Buck now with me also. So it's a presence of 1, can take 3 damage, and it takes 5 connection to get rid of it, to shoo it along. And as you can see, it's got different challenge effects on it. So now it is my turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2 of my spirit to pay for this Stout-Hearted Guardian title. So it says attached to my ranger's roll, and it says response. After you exhaust your roll, you may soothe 1 fatigue. And then response, when you discard your fatigue stack due to an injury, I can discard this card instead. So since I like to exhaust my ranger to do stuff, I get a free card back from my stack, which is very nice. All right, next thing, I'm going to spend 2 fitness to get a companion out, Quiet. So Quiet was a reward that I got. Basically, it's a gigantic lynx out in the forest that became my friend. I managed to connect with it. So it has a presence of 2, has 3 hit points. It is friendly, which means it's not going to fatigue or hurt me. Persistent, which means when I travel, it's going to stay with me. And unique, so there can't be more than 1 on it. I can exhaust quiet to add 3 damage to a being, and then I would add damage to quiet based on the number that is their presence. So, like, if I did this, I would do 3 damage to quiet would attack the Sitka Buck to do 3 damage, but he would take 1 damage back. I'm not going to do that, however. All right. What I am gonna do... Let's see, I want to take a look here. So, Lone Tree Station has a test on it. Awareness plus connection. Search beneath the comforting shade of your Giga Redwood home to scout path cards equal to your effort, then draw 1 path card. So scouting is you look at the top X number of cards, however many you get to scout, and then you can put them on the top in any order or the bottom, and then typically you just have to draw a card. So you either pick the card that you're drawing, or you see they're all terrible and you go, no, I don't want any of them, and then you draw blind. All right, I am not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I am going to do a basic test. I'm going to use my focus. I'm going to try to remember my ranger training. So it is focus plus the triangle against a threshold of 1. And then I get to scout cards out of my deck and then choose to draw 1. If I succeed. So right now I am a 1-to-1. So I draw my challenge card and I look for the appropriate color. It's a 0. So 1-to-1 passes, so I succeed. So I get to look at whatever my effort is, which is 1. I get to look at 1 card off the top of my deck. It's another quiet. I don't need another quiet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the bottom of my deck, and then I get to draw a card. So now it's blind. Another Bravest Ranger title. All right. Now, I finished up the test before I do the challenge effect. So the challenge effect is a blue mountain. So nothing here. So we go top down on challenge effect. So nothing here. Technically, the mission is up here, and there's nothing on the mission. Nothing on quiet. And in a section, you can do them in whatever order you want. So let's take a look here. For the Sitka Buck, if there's an active predator, there is not, because quiet does not have the predator trait, so I don't have to worry about that. So nothing with that. Sunberry Bramble. If there's an active prey, yes, the buck is the prey. Exhaust it. Okay. Add progress to it and damage to this feature equal to that prey's presence. So he gets 1 progress on it. And then this bramble gets 1 damage on it. So the buck went over to the brambles and started nibbling on it and is happy and content while the bramble is being damaged by the buck eating it. All right. And when a card is exhausted, you do not do the effects on there. So, let's try to get rid of this. Start to try to get rid of this buck. So I'm going to try to connect to it. So I'm just going to go straight up 1-to-1. 0. So I succeed. So with a value of 1, so I get to add 1 to it. All right, now I get a yellow, and this also means I got to reshuffle the challenge deck afterwards. So yellow is remove a rain, and it fatigues me. And because this is exhausted, nothing happens here. And nothing else there. So that is it for that test. Let's see here. I'm not going to do this one yet because that would soothe me to fatigue, and I would rather soothe to fatigue. So I'm going to end my turn. So if there's multiplayer, it's not all one player goes and then the next player goes. It's you have to take turns. The same ranger can't do 2 actions in a row unless everybody else has considered resting. So resting is my turn is done. I'm not going to do anything else. I don't have enough progress on the location to travel, so I go to refresh. So ready all the cards. All right, that is back up. Regains all the energy. So we put all our tokens back on our aspect card, and then we draw one card, which is Cordo's Instinct, 2-cost awareness event. And I get to search the path deck for a card and place it on the top or bottom of the deck, so I can go pick a card that I want. Right, that is the refresh. So now we are at the top of the round, so I get to draw a path card, and it is another Sitka Buck. All right, so let's see how that's going to go. All right, first things first, we're going to try to connect with this Sitka Buck. So I am going against a 3 versus a 1. Oh, I got to shuffle these. I like the mechanics and the challenge effects and everything, but sometimes it can get a little annoying with, like, the first card you draw is a reshuffle the deck. Or you, like this, what happens sometimes is like, okay, I reshuffled the deck, and then the first card I draw after that is reshuffle the deck. All right, so again, 3 versus 1, 0. So I succeed with a 3, with 3 effort. So any number that is on there is added or subtracted to your effort, and then you get to put that progress on there. So that is 3, puts it up to 5. And that 5 meets or exceeds their presence threshold. So I have successfully shooed the buck away. And that's gone. So we take care of that before we go on to the challenge effect. So the challenge effect is red. No red, nothing here, nothing in the mission. Nothing in quiet, nothing in the bramble. And then Sitka Buck. If there is an active Sitka Doe, there is not. The buck would charge and I suffer an injury. Well, so he's being territorial of his lady friend. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to attempt to make some progress on this location. So I'm going to travel. Now, one of the other ways that this game fatigues you is if I interact with anything along the way, it doesn't fatigue me. If I try to go past them into this area, everything here fatigues me. If I try to go all the way up to the location, then everything here and everything here fatigues me. So basically, I look at it as I'm trying to go slow and careful so I don't upset the buck or I don't get all caught up in these thorny brambles. So it takes me a little bit. So you fatigue based number of cards based on the presence. So 1 for the bramble, 1 for the buck. All right. So I'm going a 2 versus a 1. Plus 1. I succeed. So 1, 2 plus 1 is 3. I get to put 3 progress on here. And now yellow sun. So I lose a rain. And then I get fatigued. No yellow sun here. If there is another active buck, Sitka Buck, there is not. Okay, so now I've got 4 cards over in my fatigue stack. So I'm going to try this skill. So awareness plus the connect. That's not connect, is it? I forget what the triangle is. I apologize. But I don't have any of that icon, so it's just going to be a 2 to 2. 0. So I succeed. So by succeeding, add 1 harm to this feature and soothe 2 fatigue. So I get to look at the top. I get to take the top 2 cards of my fatigue stack, the Cassende technique, and a ranger badge. Okay. And then if I fail, this feature fatigues you. I didn't fail. Now this damage threshold is equal to the 2, so it is done. All right, so I cleared that out. I think I'm going to get greedy on a little bit of a setup here. I am going to try to remember my ranger training to draw another card. 0. I succeed with 1. So I get to look at the top card of my deck. Vaulting Rod, I could either keep it or put it at the bottom of my deck. I'm going to keep it on the top. And I draw a card. Hey, it's that thing that I just saw. All right, red. No, no, no. If there's an active Cadeau, there is not. Done. I have no energy. I have no other action, no cards to play, no actions to take. So I rest. So for rest, we ready all the cards. They were already ready. We put our energy back in. We draw a card into a Compassionate. And now we draw a new path card. New path card is Topside Mast. So Topside Mast, you see it's got a up arrow, so it's going to come over here. But it also has an entry. So let us talk about the Topside Mast. All right, Topside Mast. High atop Lone Tree Station, you see the familiar gleam of the Swift's hull perched on the series of circular platforms of polished wood and forged carbon. As you look at the airship, you feel a surge of excitement. You remember the feeling of exhilaration on your first flight all those months ago, as the Swift launched high into the air, then the tranquility as its wings unfurled and the glider soundlessly soared towards the horizon, steadily descending as it flew en route to its destination. Working away on the airship, you see none other than Ben Amon, making adjustments to the Swift's launching mechanisms. A small group of apprentice artificers gather round to watch the master at work. It says, clear topside mast with progress, with getting my ranger token on there to take the Swift for a ride. So, it has a presence of 0. It says, if the weather is inclement, you cannot interact with this feature. Well, the weather is inclement, so I can't do anything with it. If it were not, I could do a focus plus a connect test against a threshold of 3 to convince the Swift's crew of the urgency of your mission to move your ranger token to this feature, and then once all the ranger tokens are on there, you clear it. But, unfortunately, I won't be able to do anything with it because it is raining. All right, but because this was had the top arrow, we move it along the way. All right, now it is my turn, so we are going to do some setup before we move on. So I'm going to spend 2. I'm going to spend 2 spirit to get my Ranger badge out. Ranger badge was another reward that I got in the original campaign. Where did that card go? There it is. So the Ranger badge comes in with 3 XP on it. And it says it is an attachment, it is clothing, and it is an aid card. So it says exhaust and use 1 of the XP on it to ready your roll. So we get a fun little thing here, where what I am going to do is I'm going to use my special ability, exhaust, and spend 1 energy to add 1 token to an aid card. And then this Stout-Hearted Guardian card says, responds, after you exhaust your roll, you may soothe 1 fatigue. All right, so I'm exhausting, I'm spending an energy. I'm going to spend this focus to put a token on an aid card. That is a Ranger badge. And because I exhausted myself, I'm going to do a fatigue, pull a fatigue. So I found my Dolewood canoe so I can travel on waterways if I want. Right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust this and spend an XP to ready my roll. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 fitness energy to get another title out on myself. Not only am I the Stout-Hearted Guardian, I am also the Bravest Ranger. So it is also an attachment to my roll. And it says I can exhaust it when I would suffer 1 or more fatigue. So again, cards from the top of the deck onto the fatigue stack. I may instead place that many cards from your hand to the top of the deck. And since this deck, with pulling everything back from fatigue, I can get a lot of cards in my hand. That is great when my deck runs low. All right, so I attach this to my roll as well. I'm going to spend another fitness energy to get Artel's vaulting rod out. So, equipment goes down here. This is equipped items. You have 5 equipment slots to be able to put things on. This one takes up 3, so it is a beefy guy. Comes in with 2 vaults on it. So it says exhaust and use 1 vault to exhaust an obstacle. There are certain feature types that are obstacles, and you can't get past them while they're active. This allows me to exhaust it so I can get through it. And it is also an aid card, so I get to trigger my ability off it. And then it says when there are no vaults on this gear, discard it. And then it has a test to put progress onto a water-based card, because I'll be busy fishing. All right, so I got that done. I'm going to exhaust my roll again, and I will spend a spirit energy to put a token on this aid card and soothe another fatigue, which is a deliberate card. Just a skill card there. Let's see here. That is all I want to do. There's nothing particular with the awareness that I want to do. So I am going to rest. So now that I have rested, once all the Rangers have rested, if we have enough progress on the location, we can choose to travel. I have the necessary 3 progress on there, so I am going to choose to travel. I'm up here at Lone Tree Station. I can either come here to the Ancestors' Grove, or I can come over here to the Boulder Field. I'm going to choose to come to the Boulder Field. I think I am going to head towards the Spire, so I'm going to go Boulder Field, Kobo's Market, and Spire. So, I am going to pause this while I set up the next location, and these trails tell you which path set to use. So I am walking from Lone Tree Station to Boulder Field through the woods. All right, so I will be back in just a moment. All right, got everything set up. I've got my Boulder Field here, which we'll read. I realize now that I should probably pause the music, or it's going to get very choppy if I have it in the background as I set up these other locations. But the Boulder Field. Long ago, a great mountain once stood here, but as the millenniums passed, it steadily split and crumbled. At the edges of the Boulder Field, the ground is littered with round rocks the size of apples. As you head deeper in, however, the boulder grows larger, until you find yourself weaving between what you imagine to be the bones of the lost mountain, pillars of rock that reach towards the sky. Alright, so arrival setup. Lead Ranger, draw 1 challenge card and do the following based on the icon on the card. Alright, it is a red crest. Scout 3 path cards, then draw 2 path cards. Ooh. So I get to look at the top 3 cards. We've got an Arcology Sinkhole, a Sitka Buck, and a Sitka Doe. So, I think... Now, I could put any or all of these onto the bottom of the deck and then draw blind. Don't really want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down as Sitka Buck on the bottom of the 3, then the Doe, then the Sinkhole. Alright, now I have to draw 2 cards. Hey look, it's an Arcology Sinkhole and a Sitka Doe. And the Boulder Field says reduce the presence of all beings in play by 1. Alright, the Sinkhole does have a story with it. So I've got to look up entry 78. You stand on the edge of a large pit, where it looks like an entire grove of trees has collapsed into the ground not long ago. Among the tangled mass of splintered trunks, you can make out what appears to be a broken carbon-forged archway and cracked pipes leading into darkness. The sinkhole may have exposed a route into the old Arcology beneath the valley. So if I clear the Arcology sinkhole with progress, while a ranger token is on it, I get to travel to the location on the Stratum 1 map. So, I wasn't expecting to. I was going to go wander over to Spire, but I found one of these sinkholes, and I think I'm going to. So it is a presence of 2. Let's see here. Yeah, only being. So presence of 2. Can take 4 damage, and it needs 3 per ranger progress on it. And then to get my ranger token on it, I need to make an awareness plus exploration test against a threshold of 2 to explore the labyrinth underground structure to move my ranger token there. All right, so I need to move my ranger token there, then clear it. And for features, you do the same thing with locations. You do traverse tests, so fitness plus the exploration icon to get out there. All right, so that was the travel. So now at the travel, we're at the refresh phase. So we ready each card. Put our energy back and draw a card. It is a Wonders of the Valley. All right, and now we're at the top of the round, so we grab a new path card. Hey, look, it is a Sitka Buck. So it is my turn. All right, we are going to, because every being's presence is reduced by 1 in the boulder field, these two are presence of 0 right now. So I'm going to let Quiet off his leash to go be the predator that he is. He is going to go after the Sitka Buck. So I deal 3 damage to the Sitka Buck. And then I take damage back equal to that being's presence, which currently is 0. Which means that Quiet did take down the Sitka Buck. All right. I am now going to spend 1 to play this moment, or also known as, it's not a moment, it's a attachment. So it's called Wonders of the Valley. It says attach to a location or a feature. And when you play this attachment on a feature, you may move that feature. So I'm going to play it on this Arcology sinkhole, and I will move it to within reach, just so it's more convenient for me. And then when you play, and then exhaust this card, after a ranger suffers 1 or more fatigue, add progress to the attached card equal to the number of fatigues suffered plus 1. So it is a nice, easy way for me to get progress on there. All right, I am going to do that test. Awareness plus I'm going to commit the Dolewood Canoe because it's got 2 exploration icons on it. And if I'm going underground, I'm thinking I'm not going to need a canoe. So I am a 2 versus a 4. 0. So I succeed. I get to move my ranger token there. And then this gets discarded. Now a yellow sun. So I move here, and I suffer a fatigue. And then, hey, I suffered a fatigue. I am going to exhaust this, and I get to add progress to it equal to the number, the fatigue plus 1. So I'm going to do 2. Right, nothing on the mission. Yellow sun, nope. If there are 1 or more Sitka Buck in play, nope. Okay, that is that. Just because I can, I'm going to spend 1 more fitness to get out my Gauze Blade. So Gauze Blade is a 1 cost tech weapon. Comes in with 4 fibers on it. And it says fit plus, I forget what that icon is, to slice X with the fibrous blade to add damage to a being equal to your effort. If you fail, suffer 1 injury. And the X, so the threshold, is equal to the being's presence. So right now, again, where I'm at in the boulder field, everything is reduced by 1, so the test would be against a 0. All right, let us exhaust my roll. I'm going to add, and I will spend a focus energy. I will add 1 token to my vaulting rod, and I will heal 1 fatigue, which is bold. Yeah, there's nothing much for me to do here. I think I'm going to hold off. I could connect with the doe, but I think I'll hold off because if I do another test next turn and I get the yellow sun, then all of a sudden I complete the sinkhole. So I am going to rest. So since all the Rangers are done, we ready all the cards. Refresh our energy. Draw a card, which is my intention translator. And we draw a path card. Ooh, it is Calypsa, Ranger Mentor. So let's see what my mentor has to tell me right now. Let's see here. So she answered play if I have closed the book. Let me double check on that. So that would have been a notable event. I don't believe I have. That doesn't sound familiar. Nope, I have not. As you come up the trail, you see your mentor and trainer in the Rangers, Calypsa, cleaning her carbon-forged machete in a rushing stream running down the rocks. You recognize the weapon as one that Calypsa has been using to hunt down reclaimers alongside you and the rest of the Rangers. The last 2 cycles have seen some dangerous hunt, but the veteran Ranger doesn't seem any worse for wear as she sees you and waves hello. So clear her with progress to ask how the hunt is going. Yeah, let's give it a try. We are going to spend 3 to do a connect test using 3 spirit. And we'll just do it 3 to 2. -2, so I fail. So I do not get to add any progress to her. And we get a red crest. Nothing here. If there's an active predator, exhaust it. There is not, so I don't do anything. But I do need to shuffle the challenge deck. Disappointing. All right. Let's try to... Calypsa is actually up here. She is not equipped with me. I'm going to try to avoid the doe. So that is just an awareness test against a presence. So it's a 2 versus a 0. 0, I succeed. So the doe is exhausted. Red crest, nothing happens. Okay. Well, I was kind of hoping to get the free with the fatigue. So tell you what, let us try to remember my training. 1 versus 1. 0, I succeed. So I can look at the top card of my deck. Stout-hearted Guardian. I don't need another one of those, so put it down at the bottom. And we get Follow in Footsteps. I'm just debating on whether I want to do the... Sure. I guess I was trying to cheat it by just getting the fatigue to get it, but... Alright, I will do a 3. So Deliberate has one of the triangle icons, but when you have 6 or more cards in hand, and I clearly do, it also gains a second triangle icon and the exploration icon. So this is a 3 versus a presence of 2. Try to traverse. There's the yellow sun. I succeed with a +1, so that's 3 + 1, 4. So this goes up to 6. Right, and then it is cleared with progress. So before I do the challenge effect, I'm going to take care of that. right. You climb around a half-collapsed rubble pile, then push away some sodden wooden logs. Beneath them, you find a narrow passageway that leads into a steeply sloping vertical descent. As you eye the pitch darkness ahead, you are sure this must be the way. You may immediately proceed to the travel phase of the round, even if there are already cards with the obstacle keyword in play. If you do, you can travel either to Drenching Chamber or the Scuttler Network. Build the path deck using the Cave System terrain set. If you choose to travel in this way, discard the current challenge card and do not resolve the remainder of this test. If you choose not to travel, discard the Arcology sinkhole and resolve the remainder of the test as normal. Well, sure, let's go down. And I think I'm going to go to the Drenching Chamber. That sounds better than the Scuttler Network. So I am going to pause things here and then set that up. All right. I will be back momentarily. All right, we are back. So we have traveled down the Arcology sinkhole to the Drenching Chamber. So this is the new map for the underground. So the Drenching Chamber, and we are trying to get up here to the chimney. So we have to travel through the caves to get to the chimney. So, first things first, however, since we've gone underground, we have different weather now. It is no longer a torrential downpour. We are now in enveloping silence. So it is an underground weather card, and it comes in with 0 echoes. Then it has a yellow sun effect. Each ranger may discard 1 energy to stay quiet. If the ranger does not, add echoes equal to your effort, minimum of 1, and then flip this card. We'll see what that does in a moment. And now we have arrived at the Drenching Chamber. So let's see here. The first thing you hear as you enter the chamber is the constant plip and plop of water droplets falling into the still water that pools around your ankles and gurgles into cracks in the floor and passages along the chamber walls. Every so often, the relative quiet is interrupted by a surge of water pouring in from the large circular hatches in the ceiling. Based on your internal compass, you're willing to bet that this chamber lies not but a few meters from beneath the bottom of the Silverfin River. Then if I had to travel here from Severed Artery, which I have not, read this. Otherwise, go to this one. The only path you spot heading deeper into the Arcology has flooded with water. The water is right up to the top of the passageway, and it stretches further than you can see. Not knowing where the passage leads, nor how long and winding the course may be, you're confident that you do not have the lung capacity to both navigate the passage and make it through safely to the other side. Search the general set for the flooded passage and put it into play. If you have not acquired a rebreather, which I have not, continue reading. So let's get the flooded passage first. All right, flooded passage goes along the way. It is a feature with a presence of 0, water feature with a presence of 0. And it says rangers cannot be added or moved to this feature except by a ranger with an equipped rebreather. And then if you clear it, you can do stuff. But I'm not really going to be able to do that. So, if you had something that could allow you to breathe underwater, you could continue beyond this flooded passage. If such a device exists, the Ranger Lun, collector of exotic gear and artifacts that he is, would know of it. He's likely to be poking around the Arcology anywhere it's been exposed to the daylight. Be on the lookout for Lun somewhere in the Arcology. He might be able to help. Alright, so that was that. Set up. Search the path deck for the next feature and put it into play. Alright, well, there we go. Prismatic Mushrooms. So Prismatic Mushroom has a presence of 0, 2 health, 3 connection threshold. It comes in within reach. It says illumination and mycelial, and then it has a test on it: awareness plus exploration to discover another glowing patch of mushrooms, to add 1 damage to this feature and move it to another area. And then it's got some challenge card effects. Okay, interesting. All right, so that was that. So let's flip over the drenching chamber. For traits, it is location, water, and ruin. Has a presence of 1, needs 3 per ranger progress on it to leave, and then response. When a ranger performs a traverse test at this location, they may spend 1 energy of any type and trudge through the wasty water to commit 1 effort. So basically you can get an extra little boost to get out of here. Okay, good to know. Right, so that is the travel phase. So now we go into refresh. So it is ready, all the cards. All the cards are already ready. Put our energy back. Then draw a card, which is Sill's Sketchbook. And now we draw a path card. We have more prismatic mushrooms. Right, well, they are a presence of 0, so I don't really need to do anything about them. So yeah, let's try to move on our way. So we are going to just try to traverse 2 versus 1, and then I will do this ability to spend 1 energy of any type. We'll do focus to commit 1 to it. So now I am a 3 versus a 1. -1. I succeed with total progress of 2. So I get to put 2 progress on it. And we get the blue mountain. Nothing, nothing, and nothing on the mission. Nothing on the flooded passage. Nothing on quiet here. If there is an active prey, there is not. You would add progress to it and damage to this feature. Basically, the prey starts eating the mushrooms. So, all right. Nothing there. Nothing really for me to do here now. I don't really care about connecting with the mushrooms. Don't need to dodge them. Don't have any fatigue, so no point in loading up on anything. So I guess I can. I've got energy, so let's put a 4th one on my ranger badge. And then we're going to call that done. Okay. Yep. So we are done. Ready all our cards. Put our energy tokens back. Draw a card to a dear friend. Which is basically go look and fetch an ally out of this. Top of the round, draw a path card. What do we get? We get a flow steel controls. We have a passage in there. So it has a presence of 1. It comes in with 1 power. And it says powered 1. This feature gains illumination. It has 3 health, 6 progress on it. And for focus and triangle, I can manipulate the liquid metal control panel to add progress to this feature equal to your effort. And if I clear it, so I get to read something as it comes in, and then if I clear it, I get to read something. So let's see, what is the deal with you, Flow Steel Controls? A strange circular pedestal rises up from the ground, and although the attached metal plates are as solid as the surrounding walls and bulkheads, something about it seems strangely amorphous. You study the wavy ripple patterns in the material and realize that this is definitely flow steel. You study it further and spot several subtle bulges and depressions scattered across the surface in regular intervals. This looks like a control panel. Perhaps you can figure out how it works, and it may give you some control over nearby Arcology systems. So if we can clear it with progress, we get stuff. All right, so this does go along the way. So I'll move it over there in a second. So it is a feature, so I do get to do a traverse test to try to deal with it. All right, comes in with 1. Alright, I am just looking at something real quick here. Okay. I'm just taking a look at stuff. I'm just making sure that with a machine that it would still be a traverse test to deal with that that feature. Yeah, I'm going to pause things here real quick. I just want to make sure, since it's a new type of card, that I didn't miss something in the rules. So I will be right back. All right, well, I looked at all the rules, and nope, it's just a traverse test to try to clear that machine. So, all right. Focus plus that. I don't... Well, you know what? Let's try a normal traverse test. It's not a water feature. So I guess, you know what we're going to do first? We're going to take this turn. We're going to try to traverse out of here. We're going to use our 2 fitness and this bold to try to do a traverse test on that location. So we got to see fatigue, a 0, no, 0, no, 1, fatigues me for 1. And no fatigue there. So I am a 4 versus a 1. Minus 1, so I succeed with a total of 3. So I get to add 3 to it, so I'm at a 5. So that means I can leave here anytime that I want to. And now, challenge effects. The Blue Mountains. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Blue Mountain effect on the controls. Powered 1. Discard 1 unique token from a machine or tech to add 1 unique token to another machine or tech. Right, well, it's got 1 power on it. So, does that mean I have to spend a power? Let's take a look here. Power. Cards with power tokens have an effect preceded by power to X, where X is the number specified on the card. These effects resolve only if that card has power tokens greater than or equal to X. Nope. So I don't have to do anything with that. So I need a machine or a tech card. Hey, look. My vaulting rod is a tech card. So I will do 3. To add a unique token. That is not progress, so... Alright, well, I'll just give it more power. That's fine. More power never hurts machines, right? Alright, let us exhaust, and we will spend a connect energy to put that token back on my vaulting rod, and to heal a fatigue, which is Pakoto the Ferret. Oh, amazing. I'm now going to spend 2 spirits for Pakoto the Ferret, my other animal companion. So, presence of 1, 1 hit point, friendly, persistent, unique. I can exhaust to discard 1 progress from this being to add 1 token to an aid card, like my Vaulting Rod or my Ranger Badge, and add 2 progress to another being. So I just do a normal connect test with him, store up the progress on him, because he never actually goes away, and then add progress to other things. All right, well, we are going to try this test. So a focus, and sure, we're going to use the sketchbook and the intention translator. So we will be a 3 versus a 1 to manipulate that. +1. So that is a total of 4 effort on it. And so I succeed. So I get to add a progress to this feature equal to my effort. So 4 out of 6. Right, but I do need to do the red challenge effect first. Nothing, 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 and nothing. So nothing happens there. Right, we are going to call ourselves done. I think we're going to rest. So let us ready all the cards. Put our energy back. Draw a card, Cordo's Instinct. And now we draw a path card. Oh, it is a moment. It's a underground moment. So they have, when you go through the valley, they have this for the valley and for the underground. When you go through, to help just kind of spice things up, they have, instead of the same old cards, you insert one of these random moment cards, and it has a decision for you. Things are happening. So let's see here. Ancient Remains. You come across the mostly disintegrated skeletal remains of what must have been one of the Estians, covered in centuries of fine rock dust. You wonder what fate befell them. I must choose. I either A, pay my respects, so I do a spirit plus connect test against a threshold of 2 to honor the Estian spirit to soothe 1 fatigue for every 2 effort, or I leave them be. I discard 1 random card from your hand. Well, I don't actually have any fatigue, so it's not going to do me a whole lot of good, but I am absolutely going to honor them. I'm going to pay my respects. So I'm going to do a 4 versus a 2. +1, so I get a 5 versus a 2. So I succeed in honoring the Estian spirit. I get to soothe 1 fatigue for every 2 efforts, so I would be able to soothe 2 fatigue, but I don't have any. And then this is discarded. Right, and now we get the Blue Mountain. Nothing here, nothing here. I could, sure, let's move another one. Let's overpower this guy again. Blue, if there's active prey, there's no active prey. Right. We are now going to try to do a traverse test against that. So it is a 2 versus a 1. I got no other icons to commit. So +1, I succeed with a total effort of 3. So we are going to clear that. Before I do the challenge effects, I will clear that. After long minutes of touching, pushing, caressing, and eventually punching the various controls, you touch the right combination of buttons. The whole panel suddenly ripples, steel flowing and splashing like a vertical pool, before a 3-dimensional map of the nearby Arcology corridor rises up out of the quicksilver substance. You touch the control, zooming in on a specific part of the map. If you are at a water location, reroute. I have choices to make. If I am at a water location, I can reroute the flow of water. Is this a water location? It is a water location. So if I reroute, I get to discard the flow steel control, move any number of beings, then each ranger soothes 2 fatigue. Don't care about that. If you're at a ruins location, yes. Discard flow steel control. Place 5 progress on a feature or 3 progress on a location. I don't need that. If you're at a trail location, I am not. If you're at a cave location, I am not. Let's see here. Activate the Arcology's artificial weather system. Discard flow steel controls. Return the current weather to the collection and put a preserved day into play. Let's do that one. Because I cannot. Yep. So let us. So this is all in the resolution. So before I do the challenge effect, I discard the weather. Well, first I discard flow steel control. Then I return the current weather to the collection and put a preserved day into play. So let's see. So preserved day comes in with 0 cracks. During the refresh phase, add 1 crack to this card. If there are 3 or more cracks, flip this card. That sounds ominous. All right. All right, so that was that. I cleared that out like I wanted to, and I have no fatigue. I have nothing else to do. I'm going to try to connect with Pakoto the Ferret. 1 versus 1. -2, I fail. I do not connect with him. Red challenge icon. Nothing happens, but I do need to shuffle this back up. So not a whole lot more for me to do here, so I think I am going to travel on. I am going to choose to rest, and then during the rest, I have enough progress on the location to be allowed to travel. So I am going to travel. So I am at the drenching chamber. I'm going to travel up this fungal forest to the chimney. And then that will complete this descent mission. So I will pause here and get that set up. All right, we have everything set up for the chimney. You find your way through small, quiet passageways until they open into a walkway running to a towering spiral staircase that hangs in the middle of a wide vertical shaft. The previously dark chamber now glows with a soft light from the deep at the bottom. Solaro's team has set up its equipment and bustles around the floor of the chimney, analyzing maps and preparing members of the expedition to head into the ruin. And it has arrival setup. Lead Ranger, if you traveled to this location from the spire, search the path deck for the spiral staircase and put it into play. I did not. Otherwise, search the path deck for the plinth and put it into play. Then read the journal entry for that card. All right, so we've got the plinth. The plinth. The base of the spiral stair opens onto a vast, flat expanse, punctuated by broken sections of flooring that exposes deep pits. The darkness keeps you from judging the full size of the chamber, leaving you only a confused impression of echoing vaulted spaces. As you survey the broken floor around you, you hear the far-off clattering of disturbed rocks in the murk. Then the smothering silence returns. Search the path deck for the next feature and put it into play. Before I do that, we'll do the plinth is a 1 presence, 6 damage, 4 per ranger, progress threshold. Response, when one or more progress is added to this feature, it is illuminated, and it is illuminated. Double the number of progress you put on there. Ranger tokens cannot be moved to this feature except by its test. If the chimney is settled, this feature gains the following test: awareness plus exploration to browse the available equipment to move your ranger token to this feature. If you clear it with progress, you read something. Okay, so that's that. Now we got to go get the next feature. I suppose real quick, let me just flip this. So the chimney is a 1 threshold, 4 per ranger progress, and some amazing artwork on that. Response, when you interact with this location, dodge all illuminated cards. If chimney is settled, it gains awareness plus exploration. Search the vaulted walkways to scout path cards equal to your effort, then draw 1 path card. Okay. Now we look for the next feature. Nope. This is it. A veiled mushroom. It's a presence 2. 3 damage, 4 connect, obstacle, and mycelial. Awareness plus exploration 2 to sneak around the veils to exhaust a flora for every 2 effort, and then add 1 damage to any 1 flora. So this is a Flora, so I can sneak around it. I can exhaust it and add damage to it. And then it has a blue challenge effect. It is not a being, so I cannot cut it with my gauze blade. All right, and that is within reach. However, now that we've got all that setup done, we can now do the descent. Okay, if you are running late, we are not. If you don't have the search below Solaro Mako, we do not. At the base of a massive cylinder of forged carbon, you see several lambents rigs illuminating the space in a wide ring. Within, there are the beginnings of a base camp. The advanced team moves about the space, taking stock, unpacking crates, setting up equipment, and building temporary structures. Beyond, there is a vast darkness, sparkling with a strange kind of precipitation that illuminates the boundaries of the cavern as it falls. Shadows move and shift as the droplets pass. The effect is mesmerizing. Beautiful, isn't it? A confident voice cuts through the still air. You turn to see a tall, bearded man with impeccable posture walking towards you. We've been calling it the Glitterrain. Not sure what it is, but it sure is fascinating. I'm Harlan Voss, he says, extending his hand in greeting. You must be the additional rangers Elder Thrush promised us. You introduce yourself and inquire as to Solaro Mako's whereabouts. Solaro went ahead some time ago, explains Harlan. He got so excited when he arrived that he just had to venture deeper. I've never been one to stand in the way of an explorer, so I didn't protest, but it's been at least a day since he left. Maybe I should have tried to convince him otherwise. You're about to respond when you feel a familiar tug on your backpack. Hi! You look down to see the cheerful face of Quizzy Voss looking up at you. Is she eating your trail mix? I'm glad you're here. That other ranger's not nearly as fun as you are. What was his name again, Dad? Cal Ivor, says Harlan. He arrived a few hours before you did. Said that we should expect you to be right behind him, as usual. He went on ahead, but he didn't seem too worried about Solaro. Can you keep an eye out for him? Solaro is supposed to be leading the expedition after all. He should probably be here. The Rangers choose. Either, of course, happy to help, to gain the Search Below Solaro Mako mission, or Solaro can take care of himself. I'm sure he's fine. We are going to do the Search Below. Of course, we are happy to help. We are Rangers after all. All right, so search below Solaro Mako. Search the chimney set for Solaro Mako right here, and attach him face down to the mission card. Cross off 199.2 on the day tracker and write 199.3 3 days from now on the day tracker to find Solaro Mako and return him to the base camp at the chimney. Well, let's see here. This mission. When a feature comes into play, if your current location is in the Arcology and is not the chimney, add 2 trail tokens to it. When a card with trail tokens on it is cleared, move those tokens to this mission. And if there are 4 per ranger or more trail tokens on this mission, read an entry, and then it does have challenge effects, so I will have to be aware of that. Okay. So let's record that to cross that off. And then we do 1, 2, 3. We'll do 199.3 on that. 3 days from today, which would be day 4. Okay, I am using the Rangers DB to keep track of these things. All right. Let's see here. Nothing else with this one. Let's see here. Don't do one. That one. Complete the descent mission. Gain the survey the depths mission, and the Lambent's Rig reward card. All right. Well, let's go look at survey the depths. Survey the depths. Do that first. Solaro has asked you to. Solaro has asked you to explore locations neighboring the chimney, Drenching Chamber, Orland's Vault, and Scuttler's Network. When a feature comes into play at one of these locations, you may attach this mission to it. And then when a feature when this mission is attached is cleared, add one survey to the mission. If you travel, discard all surveys from this mission. If there are 3 surveys in this mission, read something. Okay, so we'll probably have to do that at all 3. Let's look at the reward card. Lambent's Rig. I do not see a Lambent's Rig reward card. Oh, that's because there are a lot of reward cards, and I was only looking at some of them. There we go. So Lambent's Rig here is a 1 awareness, gear, and tech card with 3 flashes. It says exhaust, use 1 flash. Choose a path card. That card gains illumination until the end of the turn. And then focus plus triangle, use 1 flash to distract with a brilliant flash of light to exhaust a being. Okay. Now, with Earthborne Rangers, when you receive a reward card, you can't put it in on your deck until you rest for the night. So, okay. Maybe, do I not do that? Hang on a second here. Maybe I don't do that yet. No. No, I actually don't think I gained this mission or the reward yet. I think that's for after I find Solaro. The guide isn't particularly clear on that, the way it's written, but it doesn't make sense because all of a sudden you're talking to Solaro there. So, all right, so I think I still have the Descent mission. And now I have this Find Solaro. Search below for Solaro. Okay. All right, so that was just arriving. So that was a travel. So we've completed all of that. There was a lot of that, wasn't there? So now we are on the refresh phase. So ready all the cards, which all the cards are already ready. Do our energy, draw a card. It's another Gauze Blade. And then we draw a path card. It is a Cryptic Wayfinder. It is a machine. 1 present. It comes in with 0 markers, 5 damage, and 3 per ranger progress threshold. Focus plus explore against threshold of 3 to locate nearby landmarks on the map, to search the Arcology set for any one card and attach it face down to the location. After you travel, the lead ranger draws the attached card and puts it into play. And if he comes in with an entry, let's take a look at that. The long oval room looks strangely familiar. You study the waving lines engraved along the walls and notice the odd rippling patterns on the floor. Then you realize the lines on the walls are the mountain ranges that surround the valley. The rippling floor is inert flow steel, which suggests that if you activate it, the entire space may become a map of the valley and the Arcology. Okay, clear the cryptic wayfinder with progress to view the map. Adding marker tokens will reveal additional information. Right, well, that is along the way. So that doesn't do us anything right now. Okay, so my turn. Okay, so I guess we will try this awareness plus explore test to try to sneak around that guy. I have no other commits in my hand, so it is just a 2 versus a 2. -1, I fail. So nothing happens if I fail, though, so that's good. So red challenge crest, nothing here. Something lurks in the dark. Scout 1 path card. If it's a being, put it into play. All right. It is a being. So we have a lost Lutronel. So I need to figure out what this lost Lutronel, which honestly looks absolutely adorable. At first, you think you're hearing things after being so long underground. When you turn the corner of the passageway, however, you do in fact find a miserable ball of fur huddling in the corner. When you get closer, you see that it's a Lutronel with 3 distinct stripes down its head. The poor being may have come from the surface, perhaps swept down by the floodwaters, or possibly simply lost. Whatever the case, perhaps you can help it make its way back to its holt. Right, so that was that. Nothing there, so now we're here, so this is already out. If there is another active predator, there is not. Okay. So I guess let's try to connect with the Lutronel, shall we? We will. Do all 3 spirit and a compassionate to be 5 versus 1. 0, so I succeed and I get 5 progress on it. Unfortunately, I do get another red challenge crest, so nothing. Scout 1 path card. It is not a being, so it doesn't say I have to draw it because it's not a being, but I can put it on the top or bottom. So we'll leave it on the top. And then nothing else happens. Really wish those veiled mushrooms were a being so I could cut it with my gauze blade. Oh well. Oh, hang on a second. Actually, I'm going to spend 1 to play Follow in Footsteps. It is a moment. It says response after you succeeded a connect test, which I did. Add progress to a feature equal to your effort. This is in addition to the test standard effect. So I can add it there. So I could take care of the veiled mushrooms, or I could take care of the plinth. And you want to know what? I'm more interested in the plinth. So we will add 5 progress to the plinth, which is enough to clear it. So 120 on that. So I just discard it because I'm not on there. That's fine. Maybe I should have done the cryptic wayfinder instead, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind. Of course, I've got another follow in my footsteps, but I'll wait till next turn for that. So, yeah, I think that's about all I'm gonna do. No point in getting another gauze blade out. I'm not going to draw more cards on there. I'm getting down towards the end of the day, so I don't even know if I'll be able to travel today or not. Okay, so we will end our turn. Ready all the cards. The cards are ready. Put our energy back. Draw a card, which is another vaulting rod. And we shall draw a path card. Hey, look, it's the spiral staircase. The massive twisting form of the spiral stairway rises out of the gloom. In the dark, it is impossible to see where it reaches, but you think you can make out branching paths that lead to the far edge of the chamber. As you cautiously step onto the sloping steps, you think you see flickers of movements in the distance. Search the path deck for the next being and put it into play. And then clear it. Put my ranger token on it, which is a fitness plus triangle test to get on there, and then I can travel back up to the valley with that. So, all right, so the next being, huh? That is not a being. That is a being. Saber beetles. Ooh. Saber beetles is a being, comes in within reach, comes in with 2 beetles, and responds when the swarm is exhausted by a Praise Blue Mountain effect. Add 1 beetle to it. You can add a maximum of 1 damage per test to this swarm. Okay. And it has a presence of 2 on there. Basically, its presence is equal to the number of beetles on there. And same with the hit points. So it's got 2 hit points. All right, well, what we are going to do here, we are going to connect with our lost Lutrinol. We're going to spend my 3 spirit. We'll add a dear friend as well, and one of the Cordo's instincts. So that is a total of 5 effort that I'm starting with. 0, so I succeed on that. And then I am going to spend 1 for following my footsteps, so I succeeded at a connect test. I'll read that in a second. I will put 5 progress on this feature, which discards it. Right, so let me read the Lost Lutrinol, and then I will handle the challenge effect. 123. After chasing after the Lutrinol for the better part of an hour, you've either convinced the Lutrinol you mean it no harm, or it's simply grown tired of playing. Whichever it is, it doesn't flee as you approach this time, and it seems much calmer. Guide the Lutrinol home, discard all progress from the lost Lutrinol, and attach Helping Hand mission. Get the Lutrinol to a location on the surface with a water feature in play and clear it with progress to release it. Maybe it likes being down here. Discard the Lost Lutrinol. Each Ranger soothes tooth fatigue. As cute as this Lutrinol is, I am busy down here. I gotta find Solaro Mako, so you go play. If you're still down here when I come back, you can, we'll deal with you at that point. Alright, Blue Mountain Effect. So this is add 1 progress to the location. Oh, I forgot to do this. Add 1 crack to this card. I'm going to say there's 2 on there. Maybe it was supposed to be 3. I don't know. I apologize. I forgot about that one. Alright, so that added a progress. Here, the trail grows cold. Discard 1 trail token from a feature. There aren't any trail tokens from a feature because I'm still at the chimney. Spiral Stairway, debris tumbles down, add 1 damage to a card within reach. Okay. Some of the Saber Beetles get smushed. Right, and nothing up there. So I guess I will use my Gauze Blade. So fit, and I'm going to use the other Gauze Blade. So I'm a 3 versus a 2. 0, so I succeed. And I can only do 1 damage, but he's only got 1 damage on him. Or he's already got 1 on him, so he goes up to 2. He only has 2 hit points, so I stab the Saber Beetles. Red challenge. Oh, gotta look to see, is it a being? No, it is a poison mushroom. I do not like that, so we're going to put you on the bottom of the deck. And nothing else has a red challenge effect. Okay. This is not a water card, right? Nope. Okay. Alright, so I think I am going to rest. I don't have any fatigue, so no point in adding things here. Alright, so I am going to rest, and now we get to the refresh phase. I'll take care of my stuff first. Draw a card. It is a deliberate. Now we remember to add 1 here, so that is 3 cracks, and if there are 3 or more cracks, flip it over. So we flip it over to Fractured Sky, comes in with 3 cracks on it, and Focus plus Triangle 2 to repair the rents in the Forged Reality to discard 1 crack for every 2 effort. If there are no cracks remaining, flip this card, and then it has a yellow sun challenge effect. Move 1 progress from the location to each card within reach. Discard 1 crack. If there are no cracks remaining, flip this card. So basically, I lose progress on my location, and it goes to other cards. So, all right. So that was that. So now we draw a path card. We get more Saber Beetles. All right. Well, I am going to I'm going to have Quiet go to town on the Saber Beetles because so exhaust, add 3 damage to a being. But wait, you say. Oh, I suppose it's this one. But wait, you say. It says you can only do a 1 per test. But this isn't a test, so that does not apply. So Quiet does do 3 damage, but he takes 2 in return. I'll just get these Saber Beetles out of there. Okay. So we are now going to try to get out of here. So we're going to do 2 2 fitness, plus I'm going to commit the other copy of Vaulting Rod to travel, but I get fatigued twice. So 1, 2. So I am a 3 versus a 1. 0. So I succeed. Get 3 progress on there, so it is 4. Alright, now challenge effect. Blue, nothing, nothing. Blue, the trail grows crowed. Discard 1 trail token from a feature. There are no trail tokens out there. Add 1 damage to a card within reach. Well, unfortunately, we are going to... Quiet gets taken out by some falling debris. Doesn't apply, nothing there. I am just about out of cards, so I think what I am going to do here is I am going to rest. And because I have enough progress on it, I am going to travel. So I think what I'm going to do, so I'm at the chimney. And I think I will check out the Oasis of Sunlight. So I will travel, and as I travel, I am going to camp and end my day. So I am going to do that. So that is day 1 in the valley, and then down into the Arcology. I'm on my way looking for Solaro Mako, and then we will explore this underground labyrinth of Arcology and Estian lore. Awesome. So if you made it this far, thank you as always for watching. Hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes. New campaign, so still learning everything. So hope you enjoyed it. I really do enjoy this game, and I like the immersive nature of it and the narrative beats of it. It's a lot of fun. So I will wrap this one up, and I will be back for a day 2 here before too long. And I hope everybody has a great night.